Moving on to Druid, starting off with Balance, which Flame used to main. Two-piece bonus. Star Surge damage increased by 8%. Starfall damage increased by 10%.
Don't let it knock you off your feet, man.
Damn, this is some hard shit, man. How are you gonna even do this? Okay, this is pretty much in line with all of the 2-set bonuses. Okay, let's check out the four-piece. Lunar Eclipse and Solar Eclipse each increase the astral power Rat generates by 1 and Starfire generates by 2. Fucking degenerate chickens. Talk about them.
It's just the same old. I mean, it's just how it functions normally with generating a little bit more. You're cycling through your eclipses. Nothing actually surprising whatsoever. I don't think it would impact any talent choices that you might take. I don't think it would scale with stuff like what is it, Solid Forest or things like that. I think Balance is good, considering that it's coming from a very bland tier set going into another bland tier set. Might not make the chickens happy, but you do not have Arcanic Pulsar, which might not still make you happy. So welcome to Feral. That's all I have to say.
Unilaterally, it sucks. So does it get a pass though?
I
Unilaterally,
no, it's too boring, and considering that the talent rework is not particularly that great. I wouldn't pass it.
Okay, no pass. We're sorry. I don't really dig Boomkins. I'm sorry. You know, I love you, but I don't really like it. It's an abomination. And yeah, okay, carrying on. Okay, Evoker. Let's check out Evoker. Starting it off with everybody's favorite meta spec, Augmentation. So the 2-piece. Upheaval deals 30% increased damage and increases the damage of your next 2 eruption casts by 30%. So it's a big chunk of damage here.
You would think that, but it's also the fact that Augmentation doesn't really do a lot of damage on its own. So getting it some increase in its own damage, that's actually interesting, and that's probably something that a lot of Augmentations can appreciate, because you're not just the buffs that you're giving to your party, right?
But let me ask you, Augmentation mains out there, are you like really incentivized to see yourselves doing a lot of damage? Is that like the reason why you play Augmentation, showing up there? Because I feel like they don't really need to do that necessarily. What they contribute with the DPS, of course, but I think I
guess it kind of depends on how they want to balance how much damage I'm giving to my group versus how much damage I'm actually doing to my group. Because there's a point, I think even now, where if Devastation just does way more damage than Augmentation, considering all the damage buffs that Augmentation gives also. So I guess it could also feel a little bit better to know that you can also provide a little bit more. Plus, this is more friendly for new players that don't have to optimize all of the mites and all of the prescience and prescience for whatever.
Pleasant stance. It's pestilence. For DKs, it's a different word for every time we try to pronounce it. It's fine. Let's check out the 4-piece before we get our brains wrapped up in our tongues. 4-set for Augmentation. Ebon Might increases primary stats by an additional 0.4 of your own every 2 seconds. It remains active up to 2%. Okay, so this is cool actually, because on one hand, the 2-piece is going to give you a boost in damage, and the 4-piece complements your it complements your actual, I would say, main purpose within a group, like,
it's
even
like
miting everybody and buffing them up.
It's kind of like the rest one, where you're incentivized to actually play and extend your able might as much as possible to give people
I like this. I like this.
Yeah,
I like this.
It's nice. That's both of the things that Augmentation likes to do.
Yeah, I hate how they look, the Dractors and shit like that. I think that was a missed opportunity. I think we said this every time we had the chance to. I love the concept of Augmentation. I love this tier set. I just don't like how the Dractors look. Until they give me a big buff-ass dragon, there's no chance I'm playing Augmentation. I'm just gonna talk shit about it for the rest of my life.
Torrent, man, just you watch.
Oh my god, that's gonna be amazing. But this goes for a pass. I like this.
It's good. I like it too.
100% gets a pass as a tier set. Okay, let's check out Devastation, because Devastation is for all of you French people out there. Devastation, 2-piece. Disintegrate damage increased by 10% and fire damage increased by 10%. Well, at this point, we can just carry on, because this is, this is what you get.
We know. We've seen it before.
They move the tuning. They leave out your class broken. You get your tier set so you can be complete. But that's fine. That's okay. That's better than having legendaries and fucking Torghast and fucking Covenants and all over the place and grind your life away. Fuck that. All right. 4-piece. Eternity Surge cooldown is decreased by 5 seconds, and it now grants Essence Burst, not bird. Essence
Bird is the
word. Essence Bird. Okay, so you played Devastation for a while.
Yes.
I haven't touched it because I hate Dractors.
But it's not bad. Like the 4-piece is not really bad. And Eternity Surge is something that was one of the more cool abilities that you could do, and it has functionalities or applications rather in both single target and AoE. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that bad. The two-piece feels like, we just need to buff Devastation. Let's just put it into a tier set and not actually tune it. But Attorney Surge cooldown decreased by 5 seconds. That's kind of hard to tell what's great about that. I don't know if it's going to align with other stuff better, or if you're just going to have just more uptime on it, and that's particularly great. But Essence Burst is a cool thing to get, and then you can just instantly consume it with a buffed up Disintegrate, because it's buffed now from the two-piece.
Yeah, but okay, question is, do we give it a pass? I cannot pronounce. I will not give it a pass.
A soft pass. The four-piece is moderately interesting. And considering that we live in a world where we had the bear one and the chicken one being the way it is.
True.
This has to get like a soft pass.
Okay, soft pass. All right. Okay. Let's check out Hunter. So it's pretty much redundant to talk about the tier sets for Hunters, because we did have an announcement, posted
earlier
that
today, yeah.
they will have updates for all of the specs and talents. So reworks are coming. And I'm sure that the tier sets will probably either be changed or will probably reflect better with the actual changes announced. That being said, let's quickly go over them.
Sure.
Will not pass or anything, because I think this will not matter in a week from now for Hunter specs. So Beast Mastery 2-set piece, Barb Shot further increases your pet's attack speed by 5%. Pretty cool. Okay.
Fine, yeah.
Yeah. 4-piece for Beast Mastery. Your pet's attacks have a 10% chance to increase all pet damage you deal by 10% for 2 seconds. Okay, so it's all about the pets, attack speed.
Surprisingly not as boring as some of the other ones that we've seen so far, and it's very generic. It could probably work with any type of rework that BM will have. Most likely, probably all Hunter tier is going to be like this.
We'll see if this is the case for all the specs. Okay, Marksmanship. Arcane Shot and Multi-Shot damage increased by 20%. This is a bigger number than I was expecting. And 4-piece Consuming Precise Shots increases the damage of your next aim shot by 10%, stacking up 2 times. Okay, so this is the thing, like Consuming Precise Shots and then increasing the aim shot by 10%. We don't know if this is going to be correlated with some potential rework. It could be not.
If it was, they would have to change like fundamental ways of how marksmanship functions with precise shots and trick shots, because I would imagine the aim shot increase obviously is going to affect your AoE, since it will cleave with trick shots. I don't know if the 20% for multi-shot matters, because multi-shot doesn't do any damage for Hunters. Well, Arcane Shot might, and it might scale better with the precise shots casting of that multi-shot, so that would probably be good. I like when they focus on aim shot, considering that we've had just rapid fire now, so it's a happy change, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. We don't know if things are going to change. Maybe multi-shot will be like giga buffed and have some synergies on the new talents. This is what I'm saying. We're not going too deep into it because we don't know.
Numbers that don't matter anyway, but the functionality is not that bad actually. Surprisingly, I was gonna, I know what survival is, but I was gonna roast Hunters to death, but I think marksmanship is not that bad. It's a pass.
Yeah, okay. Not gonna go for pass or not here, because again, we're waiting reworks. So moving on to Mage. Now Mage, we know already that Mage in the War Within is looking pretty effing great, all right? Like, I don't know about Frost, but I know Fire is like one of the best, and Arcane is also looking really good. So let's check out Arcane. 2-piece set, Arcane Blast and Arcane Explosion damage increased by 6%. Right, it's but let's check out the 4-piece. Casting Arcane Blast or Arcane Explosion has a 10% chance to increase your next Arcane Barrage, deal 10% increased damage, and generate 4 Arcane charges.
That is actually really cool. I'm not sold off on Arcane Explosions, because we did test Arcane now, and granted, we wait for the big brains of Arcane to tell us how exactly what the best way to play is, but trying to play with both of the hero talents, I couldn't find reasons to press Arcane Explosion a lot. I don't know if this year.
But that used to be.
It used to be, but if you play Spellslinger, for instance, you want to cast Arcane Blast in AoE, which is great because the 4-set affects Arcane Blast. And if you play Sun Fury, you don't really have incentive to press or not press either one. So maybe that works better with Sun Fury.
I think the biggest value here is the 4 Arcane charges.
That's good.
For the 4-set, yeah. Yeah, what? What is it, man?
There is a talent.
You always have to say something.
I always do. When you fire an Arcane Barrage, you have a chance to fire an Arcane Orb, and that already gives you 4 Arcane charges. But if you get another 4 from the tier sets...
Well, you're talking about capping them? Like, I mean...
Overcapping, yeah.
If there's going to be an issue in overcapping
It will definitely affect how you play your game, and you probably will need weak cards. That's what I'm thinking.
All right. But at least, like, we know that they've kind of, like, eased out the spec, so you...
Yeah, it's not that bad. You probably won't have to play... It might be the only...
Because if you add overcap overcapping arcane charges on top of what you already needed, like 3
be,
degrees in universities, neuroscience, and NASA specialty. Add an overcapping to that.
It might be the only tier set that makes you have to not pick a talent, which would be really weird. But it might be too early to say. But that's how it looks like when you just read it.
Okay, but we pass it, right?
Yeah,
it's a pass.
It sounds pretty cool. Yeah,
has to be a pass. All right, moving on to Fire Mage. Let's check out the 2-piece. Phoenix Flames damage increased by 10%. This amount is increased to 25% on its primary target. I like it. I think they did great with Phoenix Flames. I think Phoenix Flames is awesome. Like, the talent tree for fire is just absolutely mwah. And then you have things like this, like I think whatever they touch from the talent tree would be good, but I like this set.
It's just really good, yeah.
Okay, 4-piece. After dealing damage, Phoenix Flames... Okay, so it's around Phoenix Flames. Awesome. After dealing damage, Phoenix Flames has a 10% chance to return to you. Wow! Does it actually show that? That would be so cool.
Actually...
You throw the Phoenix Flames, they come back, bitch. Lovely. Okay, chance to return to you, refunding 1% of the cooldown on Phoenix Flames and granting you 6%... Dude, this is so...
I told you, man.
So good. This is unbelievable.
Whoever designs anything on Mage, they just love the video game, man.
Who are you? Like, let's make let's send them a champagne. The guy, girl, whatever, who is working on Mage, like starting from the talents to like the hero talents to this.
You could have 5% more damage on bleeds or 5% more on arcane or actual mechanic.
Actual mechanic. Is this like, I don't know, we'll check out all of the other tier sets, but this looks like This is like that kid in class when everybody gets an assignment and that kid just goes and does the extra thing and everybody's looking like, motherfuckers, you only told us to do this much and you're doing this much. That dev is like walking in the boardroom is like, why is everybody looking at me? Everybody, you feel those electric eyes on you as the Fire Mage designer. Beautiful stuff. This is like the biggest pass we're going to give so far, for sure. The Fire Mage is such a winner, man. Such a winner in terms of everything. Jesus. Okay, Frost Mage, 2-piece. Ice Lance damage increased by 5%, and Fingers of Frost increased the damage of your next frozen orb by 10%, stacking up 10 times.
And that's actually pretty cool.
Whoa, wait a minute. So Ice Lance damage is increased. Are we frozen?
No.
I'm asking, are we frozen because on Frost Mage?
No, we've been good so far. It would have been poetic.
It would have been cool to be frozen on the Frost Mage discussion. Ha. All right. So Ice Lance damage increased by 5%. That's okay.
That's just whatever, yeah.
Blah. But Fingers of Frost increases damage of your next frozen orb by 10% stacking. So that's like, I'm not no mathematician, but if my calculations are correct here and my in-depth analysis is going how it's supposed to be, is this 100% increased damage?
It sounds like it's 100% because you add 1 0. What I'm curious is this would become like a single target build as well if you're gonna press. You're already kind of pressing frozen orb on raid bosses.
Dude,
anyway.
no. You will press frozen orb in single target. You will have to take that 100. Dude, it's 100% increased damage for it. Unless they have something like really balancing out in the Frost talent tree. I don't see why you would not use that.
You know what's good about Frost when you lose Glacial Spike? That's Frozen Orb, buddy, because Frozen Orb is so fun and it's so cool to play, and it's one of the I don't think you're not gonna be playing with Glacial Spike. I don't think this has anything to do with whether or not you're picking Glacial Spike. I'd be surprised if this makes you want to play like heavy Frozen Orb talents into raids. You're still gonna be playing Frozen Orb in raids, but I don't know if we're gonna go like for freezing raid or anything like that.
This is such a different discussion from like all of the previous 2 sets we've seen. Is like, hey, 10% increased damage. Good luck. This is really cool. Like, mechanics like this, stacking up shit. Having you to like ponder, hey, am I taking Frozen Orb in single target? This is what tier set's supposed to be doing with your mind. You have a spec and you get this tier set and
they work with each other, so it's so great.
The synergy between them, I love this. Okay, but we haven't even read the 4-piece.
Yeah.
So Frozen Orb increases Ice Lance's damage by 15% for 50. Okay, so it's like pretty much Ice Lance, Frozen Orb. Beautiful.
It's gonna be Icy Veins shooting Ice Lance all over again. I feel like this was very reminiscent of the early Shadowlands playstyle of Frost Mage, which was fun. I mean, it was degenerate, but it was fun. A one-time thing, just shooting out Ice Lances that deal more damage than Glacial Spike was a little bit hilarious.
I think we can give it a pass, no problemo. Sure. Maybe a little bit, because when you mentioned this about the super spammy Ice Lance, maybe that it's a little bit too restrictive in some capacity, just having that playstyle available due to this tier set. I believe. But then again, if it's
not that bad. It's actually fine because you're kind of still playing. There are one or two Iceland styles that you're not taking on Frost Mage right now, and they're not gonna make it so that you spam Icelands instead of Frostbolt. But it's gonna make Icelands beefy.
I love it. I love it. Okay, pass. It's really good. Okay, so again, Mage wins.
Is a winner across the board. All W's, baby.
Mage
Holy
wins.
shit.
Let's check out Shadow Priest because you played. Did you play with the tier piece?
Both, yes.
Okay. So let's check the 2-piece. The duration of the rally, bloopers. The duration of Devouring Plague is increased by 1 second. Huge. Okay, 4-piece. I mean, it's okay. You have more Devouring Plague.
It's an extra tick. It's probably big.
You really that big?
Because it stacks. You keep stacking it.
Oh right.
And there are.
I forgot about. Yeah. Okay.
There's. I think Voidweaver has something with Devouring Plague. Does something when it does its damage or whatever. But
okay, let's check out the 4-piece and then we can make a nice wrap here. So, Devouring Plague increases your damage done by 2% for 10 seconds. Multiple applications may overlap. What the fuck does that mean?
This means Iron Fur for Guardian Druid. Or Fishermite, or the new Fishermite. Yeah. Well,
so can you get this to like degenerate levels?
Well,
if you try hard?
Not on the beta. I wasn't able to. I've played it with the talent that reduces its insanity cost, so that you can spam it a little bit more. You don't have that big of an insanity pool to like cast it back to back. But at least you probably will have a decent amount of uptime on the buff. I mean, we've seen this buff in a couple of iterations in the past. Most recently with the new Fisherman for Unholy DK. It all comes down to the overall uptime of the buff. So it's Sims. I mean, you cannot really tell without Sims. I don't think.
Okay, well, we're not going.
The concept is cool though.
Yeah, the concept is definitely cool. I totally forgot about Devouring Plague. So that 1 second 2-piece is actually really good. Yes, because that goes over and over. So. I give this a pass.
Yeah,
I give this a pass for sure. I mean, Shadow Priest looking pretty juicy.
It's in between Mage and Demon Hunter.
All right. Let's move on to the Shamans.
Shamans.
Elemental Shaman, 2-piece. Elemental Blast Earthshock damage increased by 25%. Earthquake damage increased by 25%. Complicated, as always, it's a 2-piece, bland one, whatever. The 4-piece, Spending Maelstrom grants you 5% increased critical strike chance and 10% increased critical damage dealt.
Wait, no duration, no stack, no nothing?
No duration, no nothing. So just Spending Maelstrom grants you 5% increased critical strike chance and was crit?
This is not complete.
This probably, something.
Crit is big for Elemental, it's a big part. It's kind of like Fire Mage-ish, where you...
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. But 10% increased crit chance and 10% crit damage dealt.
5 crit chance, 10 crit damage. 10 crit damage is very big. Because it scales well. I think Elementals already do 22% crit damage as opposed to 220% as opposed to 200% for other classes, and you had 10% over that ends up being really good. Again, it's generic, so we don't really know much. It does revolve around consuming astral power. I don't know if that's going to favor Stormbringer a little bit more than Farseer in terms of the hero talents, because Stormbringer also functions around consuming a lot of Maelstrom, but you're going to be consuming Maelstrom anyway. It's just damage. It's just raw damage. I kind of like the fact that it's not focusing on Lava Burst for once. Thank God, I'm so tired of Lava Burst, and I think everybody is. So you can just play a consumer proper Elemental Shaman. It's good. It's simple. It's nice. It kind of needs to be that way, considering that Elemental has a bunch of stuff going under the hood that people still kind of mess around with.
Yeah, well, they kind of simplified it the last patch, so hopefully we're gonna get something a little bit more juicy.
The simplified is going away.
Yeah, okay. Do we pass Elemental tier set?
Yes.
Okay,
no, I think it's
okay. So yes, pass.
Yes,
Elemental.
Yes, great success.
Warlocks have been through so many reworks.
Oh, I haven't even seen the new Affliction one, so it's kind of hard to gauge, but let's see what they say.
Okay, let's check out. So 2-piece for Affliction. Malefic Rapture damage is increased by 5% and its critical strike chance is increased by 10%.
Whoa,
okay,
10% crit? Wow.
Very similar to what Elemental has. Same thing.
Yeah, but this is like
but this is Malefic. I know, but the concept is there. So say what do you want to say?
you get 10% crit in the first patch of an expansion to your biggest spender.
Yeah, you get. I keep forgetting that because
Sure,
my feeling is, we're in Awakened season.
No. It's like you're probably
right.
gonna have at most 20% crit by halfway through the tier. So 10% more is like 50% extra crit chance than what you already have. If it stays that way, which I would be surprised because that sounds like a lot of crit chance. Otherwise, it's just boring as fuck.
But that's a 2-piece. Okay, that's a 2-piece. Let's check out the 4-piece. Malefic Rapture has a chance to increase the damage dealt by your Agony, Corruption, and Unstable Affliction by 15% for 8 seconds.
Has a chance? Okay, so we're kind of rolling the dice here again.
Yeah.
It's boring. It's boring. Well, considering that Affliction is like probably the most reworked spec right now on the War Within Alpha/Beta, I don't think a single spec has received more reworks than Affliction, because they've repositioned like a whole bunch of talents like 2 days ago before the beta, well, after the beta was released. So I mean, this is just doesn't do anything. It's just more damage. It's just more dot damage. It's fine.
Yeah, in terms of like what we kind of like looking for here, I don't think it goes with a pass because it's just too bland. I mean, for 2 pieces, we kind of gave it passes because like most of them were boring, but for a 4-piece to be this,
we're mostly ranking on functionality, not actual numbers, because numbers are subject to change. So it's boring.
Yeah. Okay. Now we have Demonology, which I know you enjoyed a lot.
Yes, the new one. Yes. Sure.
So let's see the 2-piece. Your primary demon deals 5% increased damage, and your Shadow Bolt damage is increased by 50%. That's what Flame says most of the time. Hey Flame, how you doing?
Translate to the stream.
That's him. All right, let's check out the 4-piece. Shadow Bolt has a chance to enrage your primary Felguard, increasing the damage of their next Legion strike by 300%.
This is currently broken on. All of the dungeons we've done with Demonology has done double the damage of everybody else.
Yeah, it looks, when you hear 300%, it tends to be a big number, and it's
like that
broken.
dude that spills coffee all over. It's like, is that too much coffee? It feels like it's too much coffee, man. 300% is probably. I would see this at 150%, but then again, that's again numbers.
We don't really need to go there because
it's passive. So, on one hand, it does. I do want to say this, that they've done a good job at spreading the Demonology tree into Felguard stuff, demon stuff, cool interaction stuff, and Felguard stuff is like the bland one, and that's what's getting buffed here. Like, it has no interactions with Doom, with the new talent, with the rework of the Vile Fiend. Maybe that's good because you probably don't want to be forced into playing any of those, and Felguard is just always there, but it's overall kind of bland and boring and passive, and you don't really notice anything. You might see a big number on your screen, and that's about it.
Yeah, fair enough. But a pass nevertheless. Okay, broken or not, let's give it a pass because we've seen. It
deserves a pass.
Yeah, you be more excited, man. It's Demonology, for crying out loud.
I want my Piddler back.
Okay, Destruction. 2-piece for Destruction. Incinerate critical strike chance increased by 20%. Conflagrate critical strike chance increased by 25%. Wow, did they need this much crit for these spells?
That's so much crit that you're probably not going to stat any crit into your gear because you're just getting so much there. You might just hit some diminishing returns, weird things, but that's kind of like I can see this getting to like 50% crit chance by the end of the tier. That's pretty big.
Okay, let's check out the 4-piece. So when Conflagrate critically strikes, your fire damage is increased by 5% for 6 seconds.
Okay, so you have to know a little bit of
how much fire damage does Destruction do?
Chaos Bolt does a lot of fire damage.
Chaos Bolt is the fire, rain of
always
fire.
Crits.
All right.
So that's what you have to know. When you see 5% is not too much, but it will definitely be a big influence on Chaos Bolt, and we've seen this on stream today as well. It does a lot of damage so far. It feels like it's almost broken, but then again, it's still numbers, and we're gonna keep it consistent. Numbers are fine. I feel like it's a little, in terms of functionality, I feel like it's a little bit too RNG, which maybe works with Destruction a little bit, but being inconsistent in terms of its overall performance has been a downfall for Destruction, at least when I mained it back in Abyss, where the difference between getting the proper procs and not was just too much. And
do we pass it? This is the main question. Do we pass it?
So how much do we like fat numbers? That's a real question.
We do. especially on destruction.
Then it's gets a pass because it's getting some fat numbers.
Okay, we get in a pass for the destruction tier set. You know, I'm not that impressed with it, but then again,
they're all kind of in the same vein with a couple of things.